Can you believe someone actually got divorced? Through a text message? It sounds like something straight out of a movie, but this is a completely true story about Claire. But wait, don't assume this is some tragic tale of a woman left behind. No, this is a story of revenge, so satisfying you won't believe it. A masterful comeback that left a cheating husband regretting his choices for the rest of his life. Join me as we follow Claire's journey, from the devastation of an unexpected divorce to the creation of a multi-million-dollar business empire, and uncover valuable lessons on self-reliance, resilience, and the power of preparation. You won't believe what Claire did. Before we dive in, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss more inspirational stories and insightful business lessons. Claire was the proud owner of a high-end fashion boutique, a business she had built from scratch with relentless effort. Her life seemed picture perfect. A thriving career, a beautiful home, and a solid 12-year marriage. Then with one text message, everything crumbled. I'm leaving you and moving to Miami with my 20-year-old girlfriend. I've already emptied our joint account. Haha. Imagine receiving that message. Shock, pain, anger, it all hits at once. But Claire? She was different. She remained unbelievably composed. Yes, you heard that right. Claire continued working, assisting customers with a professional smile as if nothing had happened. How did she stay so calm? The answer? Preparation. Claire was never a helpless victim. She had sensed something was off in Mark's behavior for months. The sudden late nights, the secretive phone habits, the new obsession with his appearance, all of it made Claire suspicious. And she didn't ignore her instincts. Instead of confronting Mark, she took quiet, calculated action. 3 months earlier, Claire had opened a separate bank account and began discreetly transferring her savings into it. When Mark suggested merging their accounts to make things easier, Claire played along with a cheerful smile, but in reality, it was just a tactic to mislead him. Their joint account held only enough money to avoid raising suspicion. The real funds? Safely tucked away where Mark couldn't touch them. She also kept a meticulous record of every suspicious transaction Mark made over the past year. Claire was smart, cautious, and fully aware that in situations like this, evidence was everything. Then came the second text message. Don't bother begging. Melissa and I are leaving tomorrow. I'll send someone to pick up my things later. Melissa, the young receptionist at Mark's company. Claire had met her at the office Christmas party and had instantly seen the truth. The way Melissa laughed a little too hard at Mark's jokes, the way she lightly touched his arm when no one was looking, she was young and naive enough to believe she was special. Claire didn't reply to Mark's message. Instead, she picked up her phone and called her lawyer, the same lawyer she had consulted 2 months ago when she first spotted suspicious hotel charges on their joint credit card. It's time, Claire said. He just made his move. You see, Claire was never passive. She had foreseen this situation and prepared for every possible outcome. This is a crucial lesson for all of us. Always take the initiative in protecting your rights, especially in financial matters. Claire received another text from Mark. Don't worry about the house. I'll let you stay there until you find something smaller. Mark continued to attack Claire with patronizing and degrading messages. He truly believed he had the upper hand, that Claire would beg him to come back. But he couldn't have been more wrong. Claire knew without a doubt that the house was hers alone, an inheritance from her grandmother, with only her name on the deed. Mark had repeatedly suggested adding his name, but Claire had tactfully declined. A smart decision, don't you think? Then came Mark's next message, which made Claire laugh even harder. I know that shop means a lot to you. We can discuss paying you a fair amount for half of it. Half of the boutique Claire had built from scratch, funded entirely by herself, and managed on her own, while Mark had done nothing but complain about her long working hours, dismissing it as just a hobby. He had absolutely no understanding of property laws or private ownership. That night, Claire decided to celebrate. She poured herself the finest glass of wine she had been saving for a special occasion, because tomorrow, Mark would be forced to face reality. The next morning, a flood of furious messages from Mark arrived. What the heck did you do to our credit card? The airline won't honor our tickets. The hotel canceled the reservation. Answer me. Claire remained silent and went to her boutique. Fridays were always the busiest days, and she had a new shipment of designer handbags to organize. Life goes on, even when your husband runs off with a young receptionist. By noon, Mark's mother called. "Claire, Mark told us everything. That you were too controlling, that you pushed him away. He said you're retaliating and making his trip difficult." Claire put the call on speaker and continued sorting the merchandise. "Barbara, did Mark mention that he emptied our joint account and used our shared credit card to buy plane tickets for himself and his girlfriend?" Silence. Then Barbara hesitantly responded, "Well, he did say that you didn't give him any other choice, that you were cold and distant." "Barbara, I have his texts right here. Would you like me to read them to you? The one where he bragged about taking our money, or the one where he mocked my age?" Another pause. Then, in a softer tone, Barbara admitted, "That does sound a bit cruel. I told him that message was inappropriate." "I appreciate your call, Barbara. I've always liked you, but I think it's best we end this conversation here. My lawyer has advised me to limit contact with Mark's family during the proceedings." Proceedings, indeed. Claire didn't flinch at Mark's family's accusations. She knew she was doing the right thing. The emergency hearing took place on Monday. Mark arrived in his brand new youthful outfit, tight jeans, a flashy blazer. He looked like a poorly made version of himself. Outside the courtroom, Melissa stood waiting, her youth appearing even more pronounced under the court's harsh lighting. Claire's lawyer presented the evidence systematically. The text message bragging about withdrawing money, the credit card fraud, the history of hidden expenses. Each piece had been meticulously collected over months of silent observation. Mark's hastily hired lawyer attempted to defend him. "Your Honor, my client admits that he made some impulsive decisions, but Miss Harrison's actions are retaliatory and calculated." "Calculated?" Claire's lawyer countered. "You mean prudent? My client protects her private property and keeps detailed records of her husband's suspicious behavior. That's not retaliation. That's smart business." The judge carefully reviewed Claire's documents, proof of private ownership of the house, the boutique's business license, and the clear separation between personal and business finances that Mark had always complained about. "Mr. Harrison," the judge addressed Mark directly, "you have admitted through text messages that you deliberately withdrew all the money from the joint account and used the joint credit card to finance a trip with your girlfriend. Do you deny this?" Mark hesitated. "I was just trying to have a clean break." "By committing financial fraud?" The judge raised an eyebrow. "And now you demand ownership of property that is clearly documented as private?" Mark's lawyer scrambled to salvage the situation. "That business has grown during our marriage. My client has the right to receive a portion." "That business was established before the marriage?" Claire's lawyer interrupted. "And Miss Harrison maintained a strict separation between personal and business finances throughout. We have records of every cent invested and earned." Claire watched as realization slowly dawned on Mark. He had thought everything would be simple: withdraw all the money, run away with his girlfriend, and perhaps even claim half of Claire's business in the divorce. He never took her insistence on financial separation seriously, mocking her meticulous record-keeping as obsessive. "The court finds that there is sufficient evidence of financial misconduct," the judge announced. "All joint assets will be frozen until a final ruling is made. Mr. Harrison must return all the money withdrawn from the joint account within 24 hours. "But that money is gone," Mark protested. "We spent it all." "Then I advise you to find a way to return it," the judge cut him off. "And Mr. Harrison, the court has a very unsympathetic view toward using the joint credit card to finance adventures with a lover." Outside the courthouse, Claire heard Melissa asking Mark about their Miami plans. His response was drowned out by the sound of Claire's high heels clicking confidently on the marble floor as she walked away, returning to the business he never understood or respected. You see, meticulous preparation and confidence in herself helped Claire win. She didn't allow Mark to take advantage of her, and she protected everything she had worked hard to build. The following weeks saw a series of desperate actions from Mark. He tried to claim that the boutique was his idea, that he had invested money in the early days, and even suggested that he was Claire's business partner. Each claim was swiftly refuted by Claire's meticulous records. "He's desperate," Claire's lawyer commented. "His girlfriend's social media shows that they're in her studio apartment. It seems like living on a receptionist's salary is not as glamorous as he imagined." Mark's family began reaching out, and their tone had completely changed from their initial accusations. "We didn't even know," Mark's sister Amanda confessed when she visited Claire's boutique. "He played the victim too well. But when we saw how he handled everything and how he acted afterward, I'm embarrassed that we ever believed him." Mark's mother called, and this time she was in tears. "The things he said about your age, about replacing you with someone younger, I raised him better than that. At least, I thought so." Claire let these calls go to voicemail. Their support might have meant something a few weeks ago, but now it was just like rats abandoning a sinking ship. Claire's boutique flourished, bolstered by the gossip surrounding her story. Women began coming in to support her, often buying more than they had planned. "My ex-husband tried to do the same thing," one customer confided while purchasing a designer handbag. "He thought he'd take everything in the divorce. Men like that never imagine that we'd be smarter than them." Claire's phone still occasionally vibrated with texts from Mark, his tone oscillating between anger and begging. "You have ruined everything. I never meant to hurt you. You will regret being so vindictive. Can't we resolve this? That business would be nothing without my support." Claire forwarded every message to her lawyer without responding. Let him dig his own grave deeper. 2 years after Mark's cruel message, Claire received an invitation to speak at a business conference for women. The topic wasn't divorce or betrayal, but rather building and protecting a successful business. Her story had transformed from a warning into an inspiration. During the Q&A session, a woman asked about keeping business and personal finances separate. "My husband says that I'm paranoid and that marriage means sharing everything." "My ex-husband said the same thing," Claire replied, "until he tried to claim half of my business in the divorce. Trust your instincts. Protection isn't paranoia." Claire's boutique chain had expanded to 5 locations, each more successful than the last. The little shop that Mark once mocked now employed 30 people and had been featured in multiple national magazines. Through friends, Claire learned that Mark had finally moved out of his parents' house and was now living in a small apartment above a garage. He had to accept a lower-paying job after his former company downsized, eliminating his position during restructuring. His dating profile still described him as young at heart, though his profile picture was clearly outdated. Ironically, Melissa had become a regular customer at Claire's original boutique location. She had earned her business degree and started her own social media consulting company. "You inspired me," she once told Claire, showing how a woman can build something lasting instead of falling for empty promises. Claire still keeps Mark's cruel message framed in her office, not as a reminder of the pain, but as proof of how far she has come. Beneath it hangs a sign that reads, "Success is the sweetest revenge." Claire's story is a testament to resilience and self-respect. If you found this video helpful and inspiring, remember to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more valuable content. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Have you ever experienced a similar situation? What did you learn from it? We'd love to hear your story. Thank you, and see you in the next video.